An international station for an international city. This is Radio 3. Money Talk.
Good morning from me, Peter Lewis. It's 8:03 in Hong Kong at the start of a new business week, Monday the 23rd of May. Welcome to Money Talk on Radio 3. China has cut a key lending rate by the most on record to boost the slumping economy. The 5-year loan prime rate, which is linked to household mortgage rates, was cut from 4.6% to 4.45%. Shanghai on Sunday logged another 622 new local coronavirus infections, the lowest number since March the 20th. Last week, city officials announced a phased plan to return businesses and life to normal by late June. On Friday, Shanghai's local statistics bureau reported the city's industrial output plunged 61.6% year-on-year in April, and consumer spending tumbled 46.3%. Core inflation in Japan rose at the fastest pace in 7 years in April. The core consumer price index, which doesn't include volatile food prices, rose 2.1% in April from a year earlier, above the Bank of Japan's 2% inflation target.
5-6-7 a.m. Radio 3.
The time's 8:24. On the phone from Shanghai is independent economist Andy Sher. Morning, Andy.
Good morning, Peter.
So tell me, what is the situation like now up in Shanghai? Are you still seeing lockdowns, or are you seeing signs of restrictions being eased and life returning back to normal?
Well, in the city, it's still locked down. I think that the government is loosening up a little bit in the suburban areas, in some areas, mainly because they want to demonstrate that the lockdown is they are unwinding lockdown, but no change inside of the city.
So in practice, because we're hearing a lot of talk about the city government starting in phases to get life back to normal and hopefully having everything back to normal by the end of June, is there any sign at all of that happening?
No, it is not. I think that the government is worried about the confidence problem, and so they're talking up the market. Mainly to talk about it's unwinding, lockdown is unwinding, and also the government stimulating the economy. Both are not very likely when as long as zero COVID is around. It's because they're basically, I think the government officials in Shanghai are very scared, and they know that it could come back if you like loosen up. So and you know what will happen to you if it comes back. So I think that the government is very, very reluctant to do anything.
And what does this mean then, being under lockdown? Does it mean you just can't leave your apartment building or your compound at all, or is there limited movement allowed? What does it mean for you sort of personally up there in Shanghai?
No, our this compound has been no case for over one month, and they still test. People can go downstairs, but they cannot go out. So if there has been a recent positive case, then you cannot go out. You have to stay inside your apartment. But the issue is that they're still testing us. In the past, every other day. Now they are starting from today, every day for the next 3 days.
So how many tests have you had?
It's hard to understand that if you have these people from outside to come to do the testing, if there's a virus showing up again, it's them bringing the virus, right? So it's very hard to understand what's going on.
So that even though you haven't had a positive case for 1 month, you still can't leave your compound?
Yeah, over 1 month. I think that, and it's still testing.
And if there is another resurgence in COVID in the city, there was worries last week because there were some cases discovered outside of quarantine. If there is another resurgence, are the authorities in Shanghai prepared to go through this again and lock down the city completely?
Oh yeah, I think the Chinese political system is you obey you obey the person above you. You try to manage the people below you. So that's kind of the system. So as long as the policy at the top doesn't change, I think that what do you see on the ground is not going to change.
And so what has been the impact on the economy?
Well, in the last 2 months, we have seen most of the numbers being halved, for the fiscal revenue, even for cities that are not like Shanghai, total lockdown, but it's marketed as not a total lockdown. A lot of cities have seen revenue down 50, about a half. So obviously, auto and property are all down half, over half. So and the service sector is pretty much dead because people cannot go out to consume, and the household deposits are falling because a lot of people have no income, so they're spending the money they have. So this we don't know how long it's going to last. But the government is trying to boost confidence, and the way to do it is to have some positive spins talking about a stimulus. But how are you going to stimulate the economy when people are locked up? It's really funny, Why are you talking like that, right? So, but they think it works, So it's still about the psychology.
So this loan prime rate cuts that we saw on Friday in the 5-year rates linked to mortgages, if people still can't go out and look at houses, visit houses, it's not going to have an effect.
And also the measure is really small. It's 15 basis points. For a market is down 50%. So that this is mainly for propaganda purpose. It's not really intended to work on its own. It's really about how to change the psychology. But when people are locked up, you cannot really change the psychology.
And we're hearing all sorts of reports from the various chambers of commerce, like the American Chamber of Commerce, the European Chamber of Commerce up in China, that their firms are reducing investment, moving people out, moving some businesses out of the city. Is there a risk that permanent damage is going to be done to the economy if they don't return?
Yeah, it is possible. I think that the Trump's trade war really didn't do that much on decoupling. And as the first wave of COVID, China shut down for a while, but the business came back. But this time we don't know. But anyway, people need to give up at some point. If you lock up for a couple of years, you cannot imagine people will stick around, right? So there's everyone has a threshold.
Okay, Andy, well, thank you very much. Good to talk to you. That's independent economist Andy Sher up in Shanghai.
You're listening to Money Talk on RTHK Radio 3.
Final look at the markets for this morning. In Australia, the ASX 200 is up about 0.2%.